Hello, welcome everybody. We're live on my channel. Hello everybody. Welcome to another live to talk about how we developed our English skills and how we became fluent in English. With me today, my three guests, they are really wonderful. They are great. You are going to get to know them in a little bit. But for now, I want to know, have you subscribed to my channel? If you haven't, please subscribe to my channel. It's just somewhere here where you have to press subscribe, and you can follow the videos I upload every week. My guests are here to tell stories, to tell experiences, to tell how they became fluent in English. They will share their stories, they will share their experiences, they will share their difficulties in this process of learning. If you want to be a guest here in one of these lives, please fill in Google's form that is here somewhere on the description of this video. You just click there and you fill in with your information, so I can be in touch with you and invite you to come here for our live. I'm going to introduce my lovely guests. I'm so great. They accepted my invitation and they are here today. Filipe Cruz. Filipe Cruz, he's not really Brazilian. He's almost Brazilian because Filipe, he was born and raised in Portugal. Filipe has been teaching English since 2001. 20 years, right, Filipe? 2001 to... Yeah, 20 years of work with students. What started as a hobby for him became a career. Although I usually bring Brazilians here for my lives, I thought it was a nice touch to bring a Portuguese guy and show that the same kind of difficulties we have as Brazilians learning English, Portuguese people have the same or similar difficulties. Filipe was born and raised in Portugal and decided to come to Brazil to teach advanced audio techniques as a part of the Ministry of Culture Portugal program for the Portuguese government. So he came to Brazil to teach audio, and it was a venue with the Portuguese government. Here he met his wife, Juliana, and he married her here in Brazil as well. He's married, ladies, be careful. He is my colleague at Colégio Renascença here in São Paulo, and he teaches kids at Fundidores between 12 and 14 years old, and Médio between 15 and 17 years old. Filipe, welcome. Thank you so much for accepting my invitation, Filipe.
Thank you. It's very good to be here. It's very interesting to be here in your channel, be participating in this, showing my messy room. Sorry, but yes, it's very interesting to participate with you because I love you. I love you guys. Okay.
Yeah. Thank you, Filipe. Yeah, I'm brushing now.
Okay, don't cry, baby.
I'll avoid cry. Thank you. Filipe, I'm going to take, because so far we had only Brazilians coming here and telling us how they develop their English skills here in Brazil. For you, it was completely different. You had to learn English in Portugal, right? Portugal is not that far from the UK, which I guess gives you a little bit of a head start. I don't know. Can you tell us a little bit about how was your first touch with the English language, and how was your relationship with classes, with books, with music? Can you tell us a little bit about your reality when you were a teenager, when you were a kid, Filipe?
It's interesting because it's totally different from what you have here. First of all, because you have a lot of contact with other languages. English is something that we had on all the cartoons and things like that. So it's interesting. The other day, somebody asked me, "What's the first image that comes to your mind when you think about learning?" And I remember clearly like a photo where I'm drinking milk. It's early Saturday. And what am I doing? I'm seeing cartoons, and those cartoons were in English, but they had subtitles, And the thing was, I was still learning Portuguese, but I was already seeing things in English and trying to understand. And that makes the difference. I'm going to be honest with you. That makes the difference. That makes it a lot easier for us. It makes it kind of natural because it's not a foreign language. You learn English as a second language in school, so it's totally different. But and it's interesting because you have much more contact with the language. When you are at school, you have to learn, for example, you have to learn English and another second language. And normally it's French. So je parle français. Oui. I hated it. And I hated my teacher. I'm sorry.
Très bien.
I know you're French. And it's quite interesting because you learn totally different, in a different way. You don't learn the language itself, okay? You learn it when you are in primary school, like when you are in the third year F1, Fundamental 1. And there you learn it like if it was Portuguese, because I remember I learned about the English industrialization period, So you have a mix of history, literature, everything together. And it's mandatory till the 11th year. So the segundo médio. So it's mandatory. So everybody has to have at least English, And I don't know. Sometimes I see my students and I look at them and I understand that for them it's a little bit harder because the lack of contact with the language makes everything complicated. Brazilians have a lot, for example, intrusive vowels and things like that. The way you speak, even our intonation is totally different. That makes it a lot easier, So. It's interesting. It's interesting when you start to analyze the differences that you have between a Brazilian student and a Portuguese student learning the same language. It's worlds apart. It's worlds apart.
Did music play any role in your development, your English development, Filipe?
Totally. First of all, I was born in the 80s. Yes, I'm getting old, and I had a sister that was older than me. So. Man, Water Boy, things like that, like the 80s, the colors, everything. So I had to learn I wanted to learn what they were saying. For example, my first tape was, I think, Guns N' Roses, something like that, like.
Filipe, you may have to explain what tape means.
It was something that was made of plastic. Yes, it had like. Two holes that had it was kind of two sprockets in the middle, sprockets, yeah. Like it had a magnetic stuff, like it was like a ribbon that you put on Christmas gifts, and that magnetic stuff would record little electrons and atoms and things like that, that when they were reproduced, they would make music. And it was wonderful because when you wanted to rewind the tape, you had to get like a pencil and you had to turn it around like that, or a pencil, and you had to turn it like, okay, let's go back, and you say like 5 minutes doing that, and sometimes it would get all messed up inside the tape player, and you had to take it out, and all the ribbons coming out. And, God, now how am I going to do it? Then the pencil again. Okay, let's put it again inside. So it was different times.
Thank you so much for sharing.
Good old times.
Good old times. You said you were from the 80s and from the 70s. Yeah, we're getting old, Filipe.
Old part. Sorry.
Thank you so much for sharing with us, Filipe. My second guest of this evening is Camila Ferraz. Camila Ferraz, she has a BA in Letras, Languages, Translation, and is a specialist in bilingual education. She has been working as an English teacher as a second language instructor for 20 years. She is currently my partner. We share some groups at the school we work, Colégio, Renascença here in São Paulo, and we share these classes for young learners. She is also an environmental activist in different public parks in São Paulo. Hello, Camila. How are you? Long time no see.
Hi, Daniel. How are you? Thank you for the invitation. It's really a pleasure to be here.
It's really a pleasure to have you here, Camila. We don't talk a lot.
No, we don't.
We don't. Ka, I'm going to take you back to a moment in your life when English was something that it wasn't something that you knew. It was something that you heard about in music, in books. Can you tell us a little bit about your relationship with the learning process in the early years of your life? How was it for you to develop the language you have nowadays?
Yeah, it was really interesting to hear what Filipe had to say about it, because it's totally different. Here in Brazil, especially back then, like 90s or 80s, we didn't have that. English wasn't really a subject that schools would have like as a, I don't know. We just had one class every week, maybe 40 minutes or 50 minutes, and that's it. So we would really have to go after like extra courses, like outside of the school, like curriculum, to get the language we needed, and we didn't have any exposure, like only if we had like movies or songs. But even this way, it was very different. It was very different. So when I was, I think, 11 or 12, my mom decided that I had to start studying the language, and then I went to this course that it was inside the school, but it was outside of the time that we had in school. So it was like extracurricular classes, and it was my first contact there with the language, and I really could get the first steps towards of learning the language. It was really interesting. And then I went to another school, and it doesn't exist anymore like in Brazil. It's called Skill. If you're not a millennial, you probably know the name, right? And yeah, and there they had like little leaflets with lyrics and translations of the lyrics every month or every week, I don't know. And they would have the song. So every time we would have the lyrics to study and stuff. And this was really interesting for me because I could get a notion of studying by myself with that. So I started doing that. And I have the pleasure to say that Steven Tyler was my teacher. Yeah. I
Steven Tyler
love
was a
Aerosmith.
teacher.
Yeah. Of
You're
course, yeah.
yeah. Steven Tyler was my
Steven
teacher.
Tyler.
How great!
Tyler from Aerosmith.
But not only him, right?
The
Steven
whole band,
Tyler,
actually. Yeah.
Freddie Mercury, Sting.
Yeah, but mostly in my case, Aerosmith. Because I was really a fan, and I would print the lyrics and then try to translate and study, and it was really a good way of practicing the language. So at school, I would study the mechanisms and the grammar and reading and writing and get a feedback from the teacher. But with Steven Tyler, I got the vocabulary I needed for life.
He sure looks like a woman, but he's not, right?
No, he's not. He's really...
The dude looks like a...
Yeah,
yeah, Filipe got it.
Now the band is almost 50, I think. Like, only the band is 50.
Yeah. Can you imagine that, Camila?
Yeah.
My God.
I still have it. I have a black folder full of lyrics and like really big. I still have it. A bit of a hoarder, I know, but yeah.
I have to add something. I was like,
okay.
there is something that I had before all that. Big Muzzy and all the musics from Big Muzzy. BBC, and I had like the entire course made by BBC with VH dates on the middle.
So
you have no idea. And it costed my parents, I don't know how much. It was a fortune back then. And do you know how many times I used it? Once.
Twice.
Yeah, twice. Yeah. Only the music. The music was great. No, she knows. She bought it. It's still there, and it's interesting because
Still
I
there?
still remember the music. Because the music, like, oh, it's 9 o'clock. 9 o'clock. Oh, it's not. It's 9:30, and you remember the songs. Amazing. Sorry, I
Yeah.
just had to add this.
That's okay.
But you see, that's a way of, learning the language, and it's a very effective way of learning vocabulary, grammar, and everything. So really nice.
Thank you so much, Camila, for sharing that with us. It was great. Filipe, thank you so much for singing for us. It was not so good, but that's okay.
Just delete it. Just delete it. No problem.
We're gonna have a special live just for you,
It's live,
Filipe.
Filipe.
It's just
It's live. Just to remind
it's
you.
like
My third guest today is Marcelo Santos. Marcelo Santos has over 20 years of experience as an English teacher at top-notch schools here, not only here in São Paulo, but São Paulo, Campinas, Jundiaí. And online institutes as well. Sorry, I almost forgot about the online institutes, because Marcelo is also an online teacher. He records his classes, and I've seen that they are, sorry for saying that, fucking brilliant, and he's brilliant, and thank you so much for being here, Marcelo. He believes that education has to be transformative. It is more than delivering concepts according to him. It has to be built, and the student has to experience different cultures and exposure to achieve fluency in the language. Pretty close to what Filipe was just saying, what Camila was just saying. He is ensino médio teacher. Actually, he's a terceirão teacher at Colégio Beit Yaacov here in São Paulo, and we have worked together for years and years ago. Yeah, we're old. Marcelo, welcome to our live. Yeah, I'm sorry to say that, but we're old. Thank you so much for being here, Marcelo, for accepting my invitation. It's really great to have you here.
Okay, and thank you for the old. You are old. Thank you very much for that. It's a pleasure to be here with you. It's been years since we last talked. Yes,
it's been years. Yeah. Remember, Marcelo, the Coca-Cola was something that it was white nowadays.
Yes, we're getting old. We're really getting old.
Yeah. Marcelo, same question as Camila, same question as Filipe. I want to know, how was the beginning of your relationship with the English language? How you started learning English? Was it in a language school? Was it by yourself with a Barça, just like Filipe told, because it's a Barça, right? Let's be honest. Or it was with the lyrics of the songs? Tell us a little bit about how you developed the English that you have today.
Okay. An uncle of mine, he was fluent in English. Yes. He traveled to many different countries, and then he decided that he needed to do something to keep his English on. And then he started teaching English, for me and some other cousins. And then I felt huge passion for that. And he taught us for 1 or 2 years maybe, and then he gave it up. I said, okay, it's not for me. And I decided that I needed to do more, to learn more. But the problem that Camila mentioned, we did not have any access to anything. We are old. There was no Netflix. There was no YouTube. Nothing. We had some videotapes. But differently from what you young guys now have at YouTube, we could not choose the languages. We could not choose subtitles no. It was all of them in Portuguese. Yes. So it was difficult to practice, to find sources for that. Lots of songs, just as Camila said, and I had my folder with the lyrics that I really memorized. That was almost the only access we had to English by that time. And as Filipe mentioned, to recording some audio tapes from the radio. Yes, we Brazilians did that, but we record the songs from radio. That was the access we had. And I have to confess something very, very interesting. Well, we did not have access to native speakers. To international TV programs. We didn't have cable TV by that time. Okay. no Netflix, no Amazon, nothing. So I found a way to practice my English. I got closer to the Mormons, those American religious guys. Yes, I started going there every week. And
Tell me more.
Yeah, I have to confess that I pretended I was interested in their religion so I could go there and talk to native.
You pretended.
Yeah, I'm an actor. I have an Oscar. Have a look. This is my Oscar. Yeah. I pretended I was really interested in joining the religion. Yeah, I've never told you that. And then
no, you haven't.
Yeah,
I'm
no.
laughing because I know you, and I can imagine you dealing with these guys.
Very seriously, very interested, studying the books with them, just have contact with native speakers. That was the only thing we could do by that time.
And they have something very interesting, right, Marcelo? Because they are really into studying. Because you have to study in other not only English, right? They have other languages as well related to the religion.
Yeah, but as they are Americans, they're from Utah, aren't they? I believe they're from Utah. Yeah. Yeah, they headquarters in Salt Lake City. I don't know. And then that was my way of practicing English, of talking to real people and not only to record the tapes or.
How old were you, Marcelo? How old were you? How old were you when you did that with the Mormons?
I was about 15, 16, 17, 15 to 16 years old. I was about to finish my course at Cultura Inglesa. Yeah.
And how did you see the progress in the English that you spoke, the English that you read at that time when you were 15 years old dealing with American Mormons?
It was amazing. It was one of the only opportunities to have contact with real English. Yeah. Students nowadays, they have access to lots of things. We didn't by that time. So it was a way of safely.
But that's really interesting because we had English everywhere, so we didn't care. It came naturally, but we didn't care. You cared, and you went after it. And that's amazing. That's amazing.
Yeah, we had to. That was the only way.
Marcelo. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry. I thought you were.
And I really feel, I don't know, not that I do not say that I feel angry, but I feel like disappointed when I see young students who have plenty of access to lots of things and they're just, I don't want to do that. Come on, it's everything in your hands. Just get it. Yeah.
I was even going to ask you, is there people that really want to learn that exist, that kind of people? Because nowadays in the school, you don't see that. You see 1 in 20 or more, maybe 1 in 40 or 50 that really wants to learn, at least at our age range, high school and things like that. The other ones.
I have this problem at home. My son only wants to watch movies in Portuguese. He doesn't want to watch in English. It's boring to read the subtitles. So it's something that we can notice that, Filipe, because English was all around for you. Marcelo, because you really took the attitude to go there and make friends with the Mormons, and Camila, because you really went after the lyrics and really went after almost stalking Steven Tyler. You learned, and this is the beauty. We didn't have the access back then, but today, with all the access we have to the English language, Marcelo, what do you think? People still behave that way, like Filipe just pointed out?
Yeah, I believe so. And I believe it's kind of natural. Filipe said that he was like that, yeah? He had plenty of access, and so he didn't care. It's just like us. We live here in São Paulo. Okay, do you know all tourist spots here in São Paulo? No, you don't, because it's there for you. So okay, I can use that tomorrow. Not today. And then just keep postponing things. We just keep. That's what you do. And studying just the same.
And for you, Marcelo, was it when you were 15, 16 years old that you started noticing your fluency in the language, that you started realizing that English was not an issue for you anymore, that English was something that, okay, it came naturally, not naturally because you went for it, but the development, how did you see yourself fluent, Marcelo?
I always tell my students nowadays that there is not that specific day on which you say, oh, today I woke up fluent. Yeah, there's not this turning point. There isn't a turning point like that. It's a process, slow, step by step. And people, the students need to be patient. They need to understand that it's a process of development and it's slow. It takes time. I mean, you are learning another language. You need to have full exposure to that all day long. Okay. I really don't like this expression of the day you became fluent, because some students count on that. Some students believe that after, I don't know, 4 years of English study, now I become fluent. Guys, students who are watching this, no, you develop a little bit more fluent every single day. Okay. And of course, day after day, you realize that talking becomes easier, that exchanging information gets easier for you. That's the process I felt when I was younger. Yeah, but not that day of the turning point.
But was it when you met the Mormons and you started dealing with them in English, or you actually at that time you didn't see yourself as fluent, and fluency came a little bit later in your life?
I don't know, because as I told you, I've never realized the day I became fluent. So it was a process. Yeah, I took part at drama clubs as well in English, so I could speak and talk and interact in English and try to bring some emotion to those mechanic sentences we had to memorize by that time when we were students. Yeah, it was on memorization, guys. Nowadays you don't have this. Yeah.
It was a different time. It was different approaches. I think the way you mentioned the fluency. There was another live that we discussed a little bit about it. The fluency you have for example, simple things like in your daily life, and the fluency you have to discuss philosophy or to discuss something else. There's a difference between that. And for you, so young, in touch with these Americans, I think, as you're telling me now, because I didn't know this story, by the way, I didn't know. It's the first time I hear this story. It was really enhancing for you. It was like a very nice thing for you to do in order to develop the English language you have today, right?
Yeah, because being fluent means, as you said, that you are able to talk about more abstract stuff. The more abstract it is, the more fluent you need to be. And talking about religion is talking about the abstract.
It is.
And then it was great for me. It was really great for me. It helped a lot.
Great, Marcelo. Thank you so much for sharing that with us, especially with me, because we'll talk about that later, because I want to hear all about this time in your life. But now I want to hear Camila. Camila, what about for you? Was there a moment in your life that you noticed yourself fluent? Or it was just like Marcelo was telling, that it was the process of becoming aware of the language that you acquired and how you developed that for the world, because English is for the world?
Yeah, I think it was pretty similar. Because there isn't like a day in your life that you really notice that and you say, oh my God, I'm fluent. So it's really a process, and it's really on you. It's not on the course that you're taking. It's not on so it's really on you. And because I was really into rock music at that time, and I was really focusing on that, and I was studying the language in different ways. So I had the exposure that I needed in order to get the fluency I wanted. And I think it was like somewhere between my 60s, 70s. I was 17. Sorry, I was 16 or 17 years old when I said, okay, I am fluent enough to say things in English.
70
So,
already?
yeah, no, 70, no, not yet. Even though I consider myself a very old person, like 90 sometimes. Daniel knows that. Yeah, I think I was that. I was 16 or 17 years old. And then, you know that I have a funny story to tell you.
Tell me.
Because my parents at that time, when I was that age, I really wanted to take like a high school course, and it was a dream in Brazil, Filipe, to travel to America or anywhere to study the language, right?
I'm sorry, I would just take a train. Very easy.
Oh, Europeans. And then my parents didn't have the money at that time, and they said, okay, you have to study here. And then I graduated in languages, a school that is no longer doesn't exist anymore. Uniber. Yeah, no, Uniber. I went to university here to take a translation course. And then I said, I don't have the money to go there. What should I do? So if you're a girl, in the beginning of the 00s, yes, you go on an au pair program. Yeah, you go to America to take care of kids. That's what I did. I went to America to become an au pair. I took care of 3 teenagers in a family. And there I had the chance to really develop my language and learn about the culture and learn about the American way of life. And when I got there, the second week I had to drive around the kids. So I was really practicing. Yeah, I had to drive them everywhere. And then I had to practice, my driving skills. I didn't know how to drive. So when I got there, I really had the responsibility to do that, but I kind of knew how to drive, but not really. And then I almost ran over a person. Oops, sorry. And right behind me, there was a police officer. And then what happened? The police officer pulled me over. And then he said, lady, I was almost crying. And then it was my second week there in the family in America. And then and then the police officer told me, did you see what you do back there? And I said, yeah, you didn't stop at the pedestrian line there. You had to stop for the pedestrian. I said, yeah, sorry, police officer. And then I'm from Brazil. It's my second week here, blah, 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 blah. And I was really fluent talking to him. And then he said, give me your driver's license. I said, I don't have it. I just have this permit here that you had to go to Automóvel Clube do Brasil to get an international driver's license and something like that. And then he looked at that and he said, this is not real. And then he gave me a ticket, and then I had to go to court because in California, if you don't have, I was in California. If you don't have a driver's license and you're in a situation like that, you have to go to court to say what happened, and you have to pay a fine, a very high fine, like it was bad. And then I said, oh my God. And the guy didn't believe me because I was really fluent. He was expecting like a crap English from it's my second week there.
They do expect that, don't they?
Yeah.
They
so
do.
He had no mercy on me because of my English. And then something similar happened on the last week I was there. I was pulled over again because I didn't turn the...
Because you didn't know how to drive.
What an amazing driver!
I did. I was driving but police officers there, we have to say, police officers there, they are really picky. So, especially with me. And then the second time, I was, I learned from the first... it was the second time. No, actually, I had a couple of more times that I was pulled over, but by police officer. But those are other stories. But this time, what did I do? I said, "I am from Brazil. I am not speaking English, sir." And then I hit my head on the horn, like, don't, please. I am, how do you say? Eu não sei falar inglês, senhor. And the guy believed me. He was feeling so sorry because I was actually crying. And then, and I was speaking Portuguese in the middle of my crappy English. And then he said, "Oh, it's okay, honey. It's okay. Just go. It was just a turning signal that you didn't." And then I went home. I told my host dad, and he said, "What did you do, Camila? Shame on you." It was like, "Yeah, I didn't get a ticket. Yeah."
Camila, thank you so much for sharing that with us.
I am not. I like.
Thank you so much, Camila. That was great, Camila. I'll tell everybody about these stories. Live with me.
I have more stories with cops, but then I'll tell you later. They're
great.
Yeah.
What about for you?
Excuse me, something very remarkable. We are all Jurassic. Come on, Automóvel Clube do Brasil.
It's still like that, you know.
I know.
I had to take it in 2007, 2008, and it was Automóvel Clube do Brasil.
Yeah,
that exists everywhere, even in Portugal. It still exists. Automóvel Clube de Portugal.
We have to pay a lot of money to get it. It's like a permit that you get, like a translation of your driver's license.
It's like a leaflet. It has like 4 pages, and you fold it like this. But it's everywhere. It's the same. Yeah,
that's.
I've never lived abroad, so I've never.
And when I went to court, you know what the judge told me?
Imperative, Marcelo, to have this leaflet that they give. But we'll talk about that later. We'll talk about maybe in another day, because I want to hear Filipe, because Filipe he everything was just there for him. How was it for you, Fi, to notice yourself fluent?
Before I even go there. Okay, what kind of host gives like their children to someone that doesn't know how to drive? Are people insane?
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
I was thinking about that.
I didn't have any car accidents. The girls before me, they had car accidents with the children inside of the car. So I was really responsible with my driving skills after some time. So
man, that's amazing.
But it's okay. They survived, and it was a great experience. I love them.
Like, Pablo, hold my baby. No, I'm sorry. Okay. So first of all, I don't know when I became fluent. I don't know if I'm fluent. I don't know what it is, to be honest. What's being fluent? That's one thing that people say, being fluent. I don't know. I communicate. That's the thing, I know how to communicate. Sometimes I know how to say bullshit. I know how to say a lot of bamboozle, things like that. But when did I become fluent? I don't know. Okay. But I do remember the first time I spoke English ever in my life. Like, I remember exactly the moment. And it was like, first of all, before that, my mother speaks a lot of languages. Like, she speaks, I don't know, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. She's a philologist, so she learned Germanic and Romanic languages. So at home I had that, and still I didn't want to learn from her. Like your kid doesn't want to learn from you. Who wants to learn from their parents? Come on, it's complicated. You don't say it like this. Shut up. But it's interesting. The first time I spoke English, I was around 4.
Whoa.
And I still remember, because it was like this. I was in a place where people ride horse, like, I don't know, a school, something like that. And I was with my mother and my sister. And I remember they were doing this it smelled like delicious barbecue. Like, whoa, the smell was amazing and everything. But it was done by a Dutch guy, and he had pepper all over it. But like, I remember it was like aggressive pepper. And he gave me that. I started eating because I was really hungry. And like, he looked at me, what's happening? Because he spoke English. And I said, I would like a little bit of water, please. Like, please, I'm dying. I want water. And I still remember that. And I remember my mother was in the corner. She started looking at me like, whoa, you spoke English, but how? You never learned the language. But I saw cartoons. Okay. And that's the thing. And it's interesting. It makes a huge difference. And it's like, I remember Herbert Richard translations. I remember when it started in Portugal as well, because I didn't have cable TV there. We had the those antennas that, I don't know, the thing from the past that people nowadays don't know what it is, that sometimes you had to go there because the wind would trash them and you had to fix them sometimes. And we had that on TV, and it was, man, it was it would make a really different. It's something, a difference there. But becoming fluent, man, it's complicated. And now I remember something that Marcel said, like students need to have patience. But how to have patience in a time that everything is like immediate? Like, okay, patience. No, I have my cell phone. My cell phone would tell me that. Patience, time. No, my time is a video on YouTube. My time is like, oh, a WhatsApp message. I'm sorry, let me just answer. Okay, but it's this kind of thing. So how can you be fluent if you don't have patience to learn the language? And man, I don't know how to solve that. I'm going to be honest. That's one of the things that make me mad nowadays, is like they want everything immediate. Yeah. I want to learn in 18 months and become fluent. Whoa.
Filipe, exactly what you mentioned now is what we're going to discuss. With four are going to discuss now, because people offer these miraculous courses like in 6, 10, 20 months to learn English. What I want to hear from you, we have 3 teachers of English here. What's the English language we are teaching to our students today? What we have been doing that enhance that? Camila, I want to start with you because you work with young learners. Can you tell us how is the development in the English language classroom for these students, for them to learn in a way pretty closer to what Filipe told us, not from what we experienced? Can you tell us a little bit about the work that you have been doing for the past 20 years, please? Sorry, 20 years. I'm sorry, Camila.
No, it's okay. I think it has changed a lot. When I first started, the methodologies were so different. We had a lot of repetition, and now we have the language in context. So we try to create a context for the kids to be exposed to the language. So it makes a lot of difference because they get more engaged in their process of learning. So that makes a lot of difference. So we try to establish this, let's say, good relationship with the language, and the idea of learning English during their life, because this is really for life, yeah. And when they finish infantil, because we call there in school infantil, and they go to Fundium, we start to systematize in a way the learning with books, textbooks and stuff. They get the contact with they start their literacy process as well. So this is important for them to really establish this positive connection with the language, first of all. And then this engagement can happen in contexts. Like if you're teaching about school, you're going to teach school objects. There's the school object that they need to know in order to ask and answer in English. And so this kind of thing is what we do. And we also get from what they're interested in and make projects, because this is also something, it's also a way of contextualizing the language. So this is what we do, and it's really more meaningful than before, I think.
I have no doubt, especially because we can use the tools we have today, like YouTube or Amazon
technology
Prime
as well.
Yeah. So
And
the
they are really
classroom
into
has
it.
changed a lot,
Yeah.
right, for the young learners.
Yeah, and a lot of positive reinforcement as well. Because if they don't feel comfortable with that process, they're not going to establish a good relationship with it. So they need to know that they're on the right path.
Cool.
for
Yeah,
life.
that's the moment when we don't have kids anymore and we have teenagers, because when students move to Fundi 2, Médio, it's a different approach, right, Filipe? How does it work for you in your daily life?
Okay.
Yeah, go.
You're saying that you don't have kids anymore. You have you have babies. You have babies. You have no idea how they come from Fundio. They're little
Your
babies.
students are watching this
No,
live, Filipe.
but it's true, and Camila knows that because you guys send the kids to me after at F2, Fundamental 2, and what happens is you deliver little babies, like the stock has came.
That is not true.
And
That is
deliver
not
a little
true.
baby in one of those white bags, and then you have like, okay, guys.
What
but
did
now,
you expect? They finished like 5th grade.
Yeah,
they are becoming. They're in the process of becoming teenagers. So
yeah, and that's the thing. Like they come as
what you
little
have to
babies.
deal with.
Like,
Sorry,
they have to. They want to play games and do fun stuff and walk around. Man, and in reality, what happens when they come to F2? Like, okay, I'm sorry, guys, but you're no longer babies. Now it's adult stuff. Now you have to learn. Now you have to know grammar. Like grammar. Past perfect. You have to know. Like, what the hell is that? And that, I think that's. I'm sorry, but I'm dramatizing everything. But it's interesting when you see that they have to start learning that they're becoming adults. They're in the process of getting bigger and becoming adults. And they don't know how to deal with that. Sometimes you see the kids, that they want to play and want to do stuff, but at the same time they say, but it's lots of subjects to learn. Yeah, but you have to. I'm sorry. Like this is the things that you need to know so that you can progress to the next stage. And we have to get like a mix of things that are fun and interesting for them, and at the same time, like push the grammar and the language that they need to know. Okay, not push the grammar, but they have to understand that they have to use that language to communicate in certain situations. For example, sometimes in the 6th grade you have to present like, okay, but how do you make something like a formal language, like formal speech? And sometimes they need to start learning that. Like you want to send a letter or an email, how do you do it? You need to know how to write it.
Filipe, exactly what you're saying is like we have to give them the tools to develop their English language in terms of register, informal, formal, semi-formal. And that's where Marcelo comes in. Marcelo, you have a life working with preparation for courses, SAT, ENEM, FUVEST, Unicamp. How do you see the English that is being delivered to our students, and what is expected from them to know before taking one of these courses?
Okay, grammar is expected. We need them to know some grammar, because grammar is what will restructure the reading. Because basically now they need to read. They need to be good readers. Yeah, and as you mentioned before, I believe that education has to be transformative. And how can we deal with this idea of context, as Camila said, of being meaningful at a pré-vestibular course, at a terceirão? Yeah. Well, if you think of vestibular, they have texts dealing with lots of social, economic problems. Yeah. Texts deal with real life. And then we have to talk about that in classes. Now we have opportunities. We can use videos from YouTube mentioning those social problems, mentioning that economic aspects, and then their reading about those topics is going to be much more meaningful for them. Not only for the English development, but also for the development of them as a citizen. Yeah, of understanding the world around them. So it's basically reading. And students, they need to have a lot of autonomy doing that. Because, well, students, if you're going to read, you just sit in front of your computer. No, they are youngsters. They just use mobile phones and just read the news. There are plenty of websites for that. Yeah, so they can do things individually, alone. They don't depend on the teachers for that all the time. We give them, as you mentioned, the structure, the ways, but they can do it. They need to do that. They need to do that.
They can learn English by themselves with the tools they have available on the internet today, right, Marcelo?
Yes, and we're just facilitators. We just make this path easier. But the effort is on them.
The effort happens here.
Yeah,
It's
but
here where we have
changing this mindset is really hard in our
It is.
society, because
It
they
is.
think that teachers are responsible for this
And
process,
it's interesting.
it's not.
And it's interesting because I get like the students from F1 and then the beginning of high school, and they go through me the entire process. So when they reach high school, the first years of high school is how to engage that student to see something. For example, today I was speaking about the theme that is sexuality, and I put sexuality on the board. Whoa, the guys looked at me. Oh, God, what is this? You know? But it's a way of engaging them, like shock. Sometimes you need to use a kind of shock, and they start speaking about things from their own experience, and they start transforming all that stuff that I got from the F2. Okay, now I can use it in something that is meaningful for me. This is me. I want to speak about this theme because this theme is something that is important, and that process of getting there, man.
Yeah,
it's a struggle. But when you get there,
nice.
You get like the students in the third year. Amazing. I'm sorry, Dave. Danny.
No,
I'm sorry.
okay.
Sorry.
The problem is we are short of time. We actually ran out of time. I'd like to thank you three for being here, for accepting my invitation. Thank you so much for sharing your experiences, sharing your stories with us. It has been great hearing stories that, American Mormons or, Camila driving. This will be life for me. If you're watching us until now, please follow us on internet, on social media. Here's my YouTube channel, but you can follow me on Facebook, on Instagram. You can find Daniel Cahen all around. Okay, Daniel Cahen, the same way it's written on my YouTube channel. This is the last one of our talks. This ends a cycle. We had six talks about how Brazilians and a Portuguese guy, how we developed our fluency in English, how we became fluent in English. And it's great that you have followed us. Thank you so much for watching us, for following us on social media, for supporting this work, which is a very hard work. Thank you so much. Next week, there's no next week because, this is the last one. But maybe in August or July, I may have something like this on my channel. So please subscribe to my channel and fill in the Google form that is here on the description of this video. Filipe, thank you so much for being here. Do you have any final considerations before we go?
Well, a Portuguese, an au pair, and a Mormon enter a bar, and what happens? I'm sorry.
That's your final consideration, right, Fee? Thank you so much for being here. Camila, anything else you want to tell us, just so we can end with a smile on our faces?
Yeah, I'm a great driver. Okay. I also drive motorcycles and cars. Okay.
Okay,
I have a son, and I never got into a car accident.
And you have been alive since you were born, right? So it sounds good.
Yes.
And the American old lady is still alive, okay? Remember that.
They are still alive, thank God.
Thank you, Camila. Marcelo, any final considerations for us?
Two. First, Camila, you're going to tell yourself a lie until you believe that. Yeah, I'm a great driver. I don't. Yeah, okay. Okay, great. Students, okay, you are. Nobody's saying you're not. You are. The students who are watching this, as I mentioned before, you need to develop your independence, but you need teachers to facilitate this way, to make it easier for you. Follow Danny, guys. He's a great teacher. Yeah, so please do that. Follow him. Let him help you. That's what I have to say.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Ma.
Thank you,
guys.
Daniel.
It's been great to have you here. Thank you so much for tuning on my channel, and I see you during the classes. Goodbye, everybody.
Kisses. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.